What's up, guys? Ricky here with another review on the McFarlane Toys Sinn from Spawn. This is pretty cool. I don't know a whole lot about Sinn. I know he's been in the more recent comics, and I believe it's Cagliostro, if I believe, kind of newer form of him. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, so here we go. So this one was kind of out of left field, in my opinion. I wasn't expecting this one at all. But yeah, we got face here. Got some decent tones. Decent tones on the face. The eyes look pretty good. Beard looks fine. Nothing wrong with that. Looks like this could benefit from a black wash on the green armor for sure, but you definitely have some highlights there just to make it look like there's lights kind of shining through. And it's kind of interesting that they kind of picked certain ones. Like those are green, but I feel like those should probably be green too on the front as well. But I don't know. It looks like they did a little silver dry brush, right? You can tell over the top of the armor, at least on the hips. You could definitely do that on the upper, and maybe they did. Let's just see. Yeah, you can see they're really close. They did that on the top too. Looks good. Makes it look more like armor. You have the silver, which can benefit from a black wash. You have a brown kind of cloth here. Same thing. I think what that would look good with is if you add just a dry brush of a little bit of like a beige color, and I think like just put barely any paint on it. It's going to really bring out that texture. And then overall looking pretty good. And you got some really cool effects here that go on the arms and the legs as a platform. But overall, this one I think is going to be pretty cool. Can't wait to get this one out of package just to see for sure. Then we have the side here. You have the back, and yep, just like I thought, right? Those front pieces are supposed to glow too. They're not, so you can touch that up if you want to. I don't know if I'm going to touch that up or not. If I do any customization on this one, just because I'm not a huge fan of it so far, but we'll see when we open it up. It's going to be very minimal, so I don't want to spend a bunch of time on that one, but yeah, the artwork looks great, though. It looks sick. And then you have the side of the package, obviously the same artwork. This looks pretty cool. So it's kind of interesting, though. So obviously we've had Monolith figure, if you've not seen that video. We've had Medieval Spawn in that video. And then we have Sinn here, which I'm still so interested that they did not go with 5 figures, right? So, you know, we have the Mega figure, and then we have 2 of the regular figures. And usually we have 3 of the regular figures and a deluxe. So that's how it's been from wave 1 through 4. So it's interesting they did it differently. And even when they hyped it up at one of the cons, they had 2 blank slots on the side. So I assumed maybe those were work in production. But yeah, we didn't see them. So maybe it's just some figures that didn't get released, and maybe they will in the next wave. But just kind of interesting. Just little thoughts there. So cool. Well, let's open this up and see what we're looking at. Okay, here is Sinn out of the package. And yeah, it's decent. It's decent for sure. So let's see. So we have the effects, which look really nice. We have a sword effect on his hand there that you just kind of go along the wrist. Looks really nice. You do have another like claw effect that goes over his hand here, which looks nice too. And then you do have an effect base, which also looks nice. So like we said earlier, the face doesn't look too bad. The armor looks pretty nice. There's definitely some opportunities around highlighting some of those little light things, which look like they're kind of supposed to be that way. The cape, good textures, could benefit from like a beige dry brushing just to bring out the textures and details, which I'll probably do because that is super easy and actually makes it look much better. Chains could be black washed. You have some silver dry brushed over the armor there, the green, just to make it look more like armor, which is nice. The legs look fine. I like the legs. Yeah, overall, it's a decent figure. It's not bad. It'll have to grow on me because I'm just not sure about the, like, I don't know much about the character, etc. But maybe if I do, I'm going to get real stoked about it. But right now, I think it's a pretty cool figure. So let's get into the articulation now. Okay, here we go. So the head moves up. Okay, so decently far enough to where I think you can get him to look up. So if you have him set up against Monolith or a bigger character. Head looks way down. This is nice. A really good head articulation. Do get some nice pivot and some rotation. You do have shoulder articulation, so it goes about 90 degrees. You have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which is nice. And then you do have wrist articulation as well. So that's nice. So you have a diaphragm joint that actually, for an armored character, has quite a bit of flexibility. So you can move back quite a bit, move forward a little bit. You got a little side to side, which is nice. And rotation. And then legs can go up not quite 90 degrees. You have double jointed knees, which are nice. Then you do have ankle articulation. The crazy thing about the ankle articulation, though, is it's sculpted, so you can look real close. So it's sculpted, so it's kind of got the weird joint, which sometimes the characters have that I know. So it's steady, it looks good when it's just straight on. Looks a little weird there, not that you're going to pose them that way. And then you got a little bit of rotation, but what's weird is you don't really get any articulation like normal, like you can't like pivot it this way. So it's kind of interesting. So it's not hard to get them to stand, it's a little limited in what you can do as far as standing goes. Legs go out really far, so definitely get them in the splits, which is cool. Obviously, it'll hinder this side because of this cape, this material. But yeah, overall, pretty, for an armored character, very good articulation. So yeah, really nice there. Okay, here we go. So here is the size comparison real quick. So this is the new wave. So all the characters from wave 5 of the spawn. So, and you can see, right, Monolith towers above both of them. Medieval Spawn comes in second as far as height, and then Sinn is right behind him. So let's do a quick measurement real quick. So we have Monolith, which stands 9 inches even. And that looks like that's going to get us at 23 centimeters roughly. Then we have Medieval Spawn, which looks like, if you include the top of the little mask, that's 7 3/4 inches. Or that equals out to around 20 centimeters, pretty close to that. Then you have Sinn, who stands at roughly about 7 inches tall. And then that puts us at about 18 centimeters. So yeah, so the height, I think they all fit in well together, because I think Medieval Spawn's supposed to be taller than your average spawn, and Sinn is kind of like your average as far as height goes. So let's measure with some other ones here real quick. Okay, and here is Sinn. Just thought I'd set him up with some other villains, because I believe he's a villain, right? So we have him in the middle. Next to him on the right, we have Raven Spawn. That's version 1. To the left of him, we have Clown, and that's version 1 as well, not the bloody version. And all the way to the right, we have Soul Crusher, which is neat. So let's see. So it looks like Sinn stands about, he's kind of like your normal size, about 7 inches tall. And it looks like we have about 18.5 centimeters. And you can tell he stands a lot shorter than Raven Spawn, which is about a whole head taller. And looks really menacing. That is a really cool sculpt. I'm a big fan of Raven Spawn for sure. Soul Crush you have on the right there. Had some really good paint details, etc. Just kind of a plain looking character in my opinion, but still I do like it a little better than Sinn, I think. And you could get really good photography with Soul Crusher too. That's why I like him. But you can tell they stand about the same height. Clown obviously is quite a bit shorter, but he is supposed to be, but much stockier. So I think he fits in really well with the villains. And like I said, I think this one, this one might need to grow on me a little bit. So let's get into final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts on Sinn. So I think overall, as a figure, I don't think it's too bad. So there's pretty good articulation for being armored. We have cool paint application. We got cool silver tones there, or shinier tones there. Cool plastic. They did do some silver dry brushing on some of the green plastic as well. Definitely there's some opportunities about adding some more highlighted features within some of those little dots there. So of course with most McFarlane, right, there is paint application that we could definitely apply to make better. Cool effects though. Everything about it is pretty nice. It's just I'm not super familiar with Sinn, so I'm going to wait and see if this figure grows on me the more I have it. And obviously you definitely benefit from a little beige dry brushing over the top, which I think could be really really nice to bring out those details. And I'll do the same on the cloth there too. But yeah, overall, pretty cool figure. So thank you all for tuning in today. If you have not seen the Medieval Spawn or Monolith Spawn reviews, definitely check those out. And in the meantime, you can feel free to check out the channel. I do reviews, customizations. I do a few music things, but I've been doing a lot of clan videos as of lately with the Predators. If you're into the Predator line, check that out. And yeah, you'll learn a little bit more about the history of the Predators, which I think is also very cool. So appreciate you all tuning in. We keep increasing subscribers, so thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you all in the next video.